Hello, and welcome to your Leadership Training Day. Today's event is all about learning by doing. You're going to discover more about your passions and your purpose. You're also going to work in groups, learning how to empower and inspire one another. You'll begin building a strong community of people to support you in your leadership journey. But let's get real for a second. It can be hard to find time to think about things like purpose. On a daily basis, we're more focused on work, school, family commitments, and all the other things we have going on. Life will always have a lot of distractions, which is why today is all about you. Take advantage of this time. Dig in. Be present. You've already invested in yourself by becoming an NSLS member. This is where you can take it a step further by learning more about who you are and the skills you need to become a great leader. Once today wraps up, you'll become an official 6-2 leader. A 6-2 NSLS leader is someone who will be able to both demonstrate our 6 foundations of leadership and connect to other great leaders of today. The 6 foundations are represented by the bars on the NSLS shield. Number 1, clarify your purpose. Number 2, create a shared vision. Number 3, challenge the status quo. Number 4, inspire positive action. Number 5, empower others. Number 6, seek constant improvement. But before we dive in, I want to invite you to look around at the other leaders with you today. Each person and name has a different story. So, to learn a little more about each other, your chapter leader will put you into breakout rooms in just a moment. Once in your group, you're going to introduce yourself and answer the question, something you may not know by looking at me is. For example, my name is Dr. Koji Sidney Mackay, and something you may not know by looking at me is I love classical music. When your chapter leader puts you into breakout rooms, you'll see a new page appear and you'll click Join Room. Your breakout session will open in a new tab, but the main room will stay right here. If you have any questions during the activity, you can always toggle back to this main room at any time. Remember, introduce yourself and answer the question, something you may not know by looking at me is. You'll have a few minutes for this activity. Go ahead and get started now. Now that we know a little more about each other, let's get started with our first foundation.
Hello again, and I want to introduce myself. My name is Jeff from Trill or Not Trill, and I'm pleased to kick off your Leadership Training Day with Foundation 1, clarify your purpose. So what does clarifying your purpose mean? See, purpose is uniquely different for each of us because we are each unique in our life experiences, attitudes, and belief systems, and no one has lived your exact life except you. You know, purpose is why you exist. Purpose is who you're aligned with, the impact you would have on the world. It helps make you who you are. Now, purpose is not a list of your skills, educational accomplishments, or decisions that you've made so far in life. Neither is it a general idea that can be applied universally, like utilizing my leadership skills to ensure my success in all future endeavors. Seriously? I don't need you to go there. What I need you to do is actually dig a little bit deeper and take this a little bit more seriously. It's not about what you're supposed to feel or think. It's about what you can't help feeling or thinking about and actually doing. As a matter of fact, it's doing something that's relevant. So let's define purpose. Who you are and the impact you have on the world. It is uniquely different for each person. Now let me tell you a story. My parents wanted me to be either a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. But all I ever wanted to do was tell stories. I wanted to write books. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to teach the world. My parents didn't quite line up with all of those things. I said, Mom, I wanted to be an author. She said, what about being a doctor? I said, Dad, I want to be on stage. He said, what about that engineering degree? But I continued to live the life that I wanted to do because I needed it. I wanted it. I wanted to take those stories and turn them into what I'm doing today. And today, I'm an author of multiple books. Today, I'm traveling all across the country, telling stories and impacting the world. Today, I get the chance to speak to not only people like you, but people all across this country and changing lives. But you see, my parents didn't quite buy into that yet, until one day they saw me on stage not too long ago. And it was that moment, at that time, that I realized that they knew this was the purpose. This was the passion. And look at me today, living my best life, living my purpose. How do you first find your purpose? It starts with the L's of clarifying your purpose. Think of these as a list that you can check off. Does your purpose have each of these things? Let's learn a little bit more about each L.
Your purpose should make you feel like you're living your best life.
I think it's always good to look up to people and to want to be your better self. And I just can't believe the life we've created together. And I'm so happy, and I'm so honored to be able to have this platform to talk to all of you.
We love that the American story is filled with people who come from all over the world to have a better life here.
Make sure your purpose has staying power. Think long term.
I will do this job as long as I can do it full steam. And at my age, that means you take it year by year. This year, there will be no slowdown.
Your legacy is what you will be remembered for, what you leave behind.
Go! U.S. leads! Romero! Shooting! Go!
Don't overthink it. Your purpose should be short and succinct, but still impactful.
Meet Marie Kondo, the world-renowned guru of getting organized. If things in your life don't make you happy, clean out the clutter and let them go.
Your purpose should make you smile, laugh, and feel happy just at the thought of it. Follow what excites you like nothing else.
This is a huge moment, not only in my life, not only in my family's life, but for these kids, this is a huge moment for all of us.
In life, L's are often looked at as losses, but today it stands for leadership. You'll use each of these L's to clarify your purpose and become a better leader. Now let's start with an activity. I'm going to ask you to answer a question related to each of the L's that we just learned about. When answering these questions, think about the first thing that comes to mind. We're going to play this shot clock style, so please keep your answers to only 1 or 2 words. This is going to be an individual activity, so no partners. Just listen to the question and write down the first word or 2 that comes into your head. When was the last time you were actively living your best life? What's something in your life that has staying power? Name as many words or phrases related to legacy. What's something simple in life that you really enjoy? When is the last time you really laughed? I mean, really, really laughed. What gets you energized and hyped up? Great job. Now that we have answers to each of these questions, let's take a moment to turn to the next page in your workbook titled Construct Your Purpose Map. A purpose map. What is that? Purpose maps help us find relationships between concepts. Now, when you look at this, you're going to see arrows pointed to the topics of certain questions that you actually just answered. On each of these arrows, you will write down your previously identified answers. Remember, you should have just 1 or 2 words per answer. Once all of your answers are recorded, take some time to try and find a connection between them. That's the whole point, because this becomes your common thread that can help point you toward your purpose. And if you look carefully, in the center of the map is a blank square where you would then write down your newly identified purpose. What's the thing that links all of your answers today? What is your purpose? Remember that purposes, they don't have to be complex. Things like helping others to be successful, that's an example of a purpose. Or if you love solving complex problems, your purpose could be, I love solving complex problems. Your purpose is personal to you. So it's important that it resonates with you and it fits each of the L's that we discussed before. Your facilitator is now going to give you about 5 minutes to construct your purpose map. Finding one's purpose can be a very challenging task, my friends. And it may take quite some time, as you might be quickly realizing. But the fact that you're here and willing to take these first steps actually puts you ahead of most. Even if it takes you a while, you need to give yourself some credit for trying and for your willingness to be self-reflective. Understanding your purpose is critical to your success as a leader and for your fulfillment in your life and work. Your passions may actually change over time. Even your purpose may shift as you experience new things. Now I'm going to give you a metaphor real quick. So just go with me on this one. Now think about it. How will you know if being a captain of a ship is your purpose if you actually live in a desert where access to a life at sea is non-existent? You would never know that unless you change your environment. So for now, just aim at what you think your purpose is today and you can grow from there. Congrats! You have just identified and clarified your purpose, and you now have your first tool. However, one tool isn't enough, and neither is striving for success by yourself. The power of collaboration, sharing your vision, and showing how your purpose relates to the success of others will ensure your success. In our next foundation, Create a Shared Vision, we're going to start giving you the tools you'll need to be successful in living out your purpose.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa from SwiftKick, and here we are in Foundation 2, Create a Shared Vision. In the first foundation, you explored the process of identifying your true purpose with Jeff. In Foundation number 2, Create a Shared Vision, you're going to learn the basic steps for how to bring others along with you on your purpose journey. But first, what's a shared vision? A shared vision is about identifying an end goal and working as a collective to reach that destination. Shared visions are about achieving success as a team. Consider the purpose you just identified. Now, do you really think you can achieve it all on your own? All of us need support and cooperation from others in order to accomplish anything truly significant. So, to accomplish things with others and through others, we must create a shared vision that they will be inspired by and actually motivated to contribute to. Let's take a look at a great example of a vision statement that clearly states a purpose and a process to execute that purpose from Nick Fury from the Avengers. There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people, to make them work together when we needed them to fight the battles that we never could. Take a second to think about why this quote from Nick Fury is a great example of a vision statement. Let's break this one down. What makes this a good vision statement? A good vision statement has 4 key ingredients: purpose, values, passion, and beliefs. All of these things together make a good vision statement. Let's start with purpose. Bring together a group of remarkable people. This is an example of purpose because it is important to understand the why. As discussed, the L's involve a lot of different parts, but ultimately, it's about bringing it all together for one goal. Now, let's look at value. Make them work together when we needed them to. This is an example of value because values represent the work it takes for people to see the worth in what they're doing and how it impacts not only themselves, but how it touches those around them as well. And lastly, what about passion and beliefs? Fight the battles that we never could. Passion and belief involve seeing things that are not always readily visible, but with great levels of effort can be achieved. It is the entity you love and are willing to fight for. You now have the recipe on how to make a strong vision statement. So now, utilizing your purpose that you identified in the last activity, it's time to construct your own personal vision statement. Turn to your workbook page titled Construct Your Personal Vision Statement. Provided will be an outline of the vision statement example we just discussed. First, write down your purpose from the last activity. This is the first part of the recipe for your vision statement. Next, evaluate your purpose and identify your values, beliefs, and passions that will help you achieve it. We want you to really think about this step, so take about 5 minutes to think about each of these pieces. As you start to put together your vision statement, be aware that you can choose to start your statement with any of the 4 pieces. This is totally up to you, and either way, it works. It just depends on your specific statement. Now, utilizing the final space on the page, put each of these pieces together to form your own personal vision statement. Your facilitator will give you about 2 minutes to do this. With your newly crafted vision statement in hand, we now need to figure out how to take it from just being words on a paper to something that is a reality. For that, you need a team around you that is motivated to hustle and make your vision happen. So how do you motivate a team towards accomplishing your vision? First, you have to find out what their purposes are and what motivates them.
For this activity, you're going to work in small groups, and everyone is going to share their personal vision statement they've just created. Be sure to listen carefully, because once everyone is done sharing, your group is going to take some time to find a common thread between each of your vision statements. For example, let's look at these 3 statements. Number 1, I want to start an organization whose mission will be to clean the world's oceans. Number 2, I want to inspire students to develop the self-confidence they need to succeed. Number 3, I want to plant flowers at my grandmom's nursing home to make the residents happier. All of these statements are focused on different things. But when you look for the common thread, you see that all 3 are focused on helping. It's your turn. Remember, you'll be divided into breakout rooms, share each of your vision statements, and then together find a common thread between them. Your chapter leader will give you about 7 minutes to do this, starting now. You are on a roll. You've now heard some amazing personal vision statements from your fellow members and found a common link between them. As a leader, you have to find out what connects your vision to the vision of others. This is how you can motivate and engage the people around you. Now let's reflect back. After talking with your group and hearing a few other vision statements, is there anything you want to change about yours? For example, maybe you need to make it more specific. Looking at example 2 from before, we now see that it's a little vague. It says, I want to inspire students to develop the self-confidence they need to succeed. This is a great idea, but how will we accomplish this? To make it more specific, I might change it to, I want to inspire students to develop the self-confidence they need to succeed through coaching a local sports team. By making my vision clearer, I've made it easier for myself and others to understand my goal. On the flip side, maybe your statement is a little too specific, which could affect others buying into your vision. Look at our third example. I want to plant flowers at my grandmom's nursing home to make the residents happier. While this is a good vision, it's very personalized to you. To make it broader, I might change it to, I want to make residents in nursing homes happier by creating an organization that delivers seasonal flowers to them. We've now broadened our statement so that others can better identify with it and get excited to help achieve this vision. Take a moment now to look at your own vision statement. Do you need to make it more specific? Do you need to make it broader? You'll have about a minute now to make any changes.
Awesome work. You have now secured a second tool. You know how to create your own vision statement and how to rally others around you to help. This will be essential to you pursuing your passion and being successful in what you want to accomplish. But we know that even with the best vision statement and the best team around you, there are going to be detractors and distractions as you continue to execute shared visions and to grow with others. The next foundation will provide you a third tool that can help you thwart off resistance from others as you continue to lead and innovate.
Hello again. By now, we've clarified your purpose, created a personal vision statement, and learned how to create a shared vision. Now let's talk more about challenging the status quo. We look at challenging the status quo as a process of stepping outside the usual parameters and seeking innovation. Most people work within the limits of an existing paradigm. Then there are the game changers, the mavericks, and the visionaries who step outside the comfort of the status quo and attempt to redefine normal. See, they don't limit themselves to the beliefs, the rules, or assumptions of the current system. They focus on building new models that eventually make the existing model obsolete. But when you're a game changer and you challenge the status quo, sometimes you get words from the haters.
She comes on television every day of the week and is our friend, a teacher, a leader, a listener.
There sure are a lot of doubters and naysayers in this world. But the good news is, those who say it can't be done are usually interrupted by those doing it. So if you have a dream that's constantly doubted, ridiculed or misunderstood. A dream that goes against all common sense. Well, welcome to the club, my friend.
Just because people are telling you that you can't do something doesn't mean that they're right and that you're wrong. It's just one of the many obstacles you'll face when challenging the status quo. So why wouldn't someone just take the easy way that doesn't have as many obstacles and criticism? I'll tell you why. Because then everything in life would stay the same. We only grow as individuals and as a community when people have the courage to challenge the status quo and as a result, make impactful and lasting change. Some of the people you just heard about were told they were never going to succeed. Now, their names are known around the world as experts and innovators of their industry. We want you to have the courage and necessary tools to challenge the status quo in order to make a bigger impact where you are. We've already been over why challenging the status quo is important, but what happens after you start doing that? Just as you saw with the game changers above, you're gonna run into some obstacles. Sometimes it's people telling you can't do it, but there are other obstacles too, my friends. We're gonna break you into some small groups, and as a group, you're gonna choose one group goal to strive for. Now, this doesn't have to be a real goal that you'll do, but choose one to use in this activity. Once you choose that goal, you're going to have to divide yourselves in half. Half the group will be defined as the obstacles group. They will come up with the potential challenges and resources needed that may stunt the development of a win in your group's goal. The other half of the group will in turn provide some possible solutions to the obstacles stated and will also list where to find some resources or even name themselves as a possible resource to the obstacle presented. Turn to the page in your workbook titled #winning so you can fill in your group's goal as well as the obstacles and solutions that you come up with. Your facilitator will give you about 7 minutes to complete this activity. Welcome back. You've now begun to prep yourself with the tools you'll need to challenge the status quo. Continue to think about who do you listen to and who do you surround yourself with. When you have your purpose, it's important to have people who support you. When someone starts to challenge what's already established or look at a problem in a different way, it will inevitably invite criticism. While you're challenging the norm, you'll need people who can help you identify obstacles, but then offer you solutions and motivate you to push through the tough times. And you'll also want to be this person for others. This third tool gives you some of the skills needed to challenge the status quo. Being able to build a team around you to help you recognize challenges and find solutions that are in your path is critically important. These team members, some of whom might be next to you right now, will also inspire positive action in your life. This next foundation is ready to give you an inspirational tool needed to succeed.
As we head into the fourth leadership foundation, we begin to look beyond the initial steps a leader will take and into the realm of inspiring action in the people that we lead. As leaders, we go even one step further than just getting people to act. We inspire them to want to do it. In the last section, we discussed your achievements, aka #winning. We talked about obstacles and solutions, but now we're ready to take it to the next level. As I'm sure you've experienced, we can have all the resources we need, but sometimes we still need an extra push. We can get that extra oomph from inspiring ourselves or being inspired by others. However, it's important to know that we all inspire differently. Going back to our teams from orientation, let's take a look at how each of us can inspire in various ways. If you haven't attended orientation yet or don't remember your team, don't worry. We're going to show a few key words for each team that you can take a look at and choose a team that sounds most like you.
I want you to think about more than just what you're going to do financially, more than what you're going to do in this industry in the next 3 years, right? More than that, I ask you the question, what's your appetite? What are you going to do that will ensure that when the alarm clock goes off, that you are already up 10, 20 minutes before your alarm clock goes off? Wow.
544 miles per hour of 46.56 degrees. 2,990 miles. Okay, so that puts your landing zone at 5.0667 degrees north, 77.3333 degrees west, which is here. Give or take 20 square miles.
I like your numbers.
I want you all to keep looking up. Keep looking up and out into the cosmos. Question things. I'm claiming that there will be similar world-changing discoveries in the coming years, in your lifetimes. For example, recently, we've come to know that the universe is bigger than anyone ever thought. Not only that, it's getting bigger faster. Its expansion is accelerating. And do you know why? No one knows why. But researchers have proven scientifically that humans are all one people.
I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
Now that we've seen how teams can inspire differently, let's dive deeper into learning more about how you are inspired. Turn to the page in your workbook titled Inspire Positive Action. On this page, you'll see a series of questions that you're first going to answer on your own. These questions will drill down the what, the how, and the why of creating your own success. Your facilitator will give you about 5 minutes to answer these questions. Great job, everyone. Now that you've answered your what, how, and why around your success, you're going to find a partner who's identified as a different team than you and discuss your what, how, and why with each other. Then, once you share, we want you to think of at least one action you can take to inspire your partner towards their vision based on their team. Whether you're sharing out your vision or having someone share with you, it's important to remember that there are different ways to inspire people. As a reminder, if you don't have a team from orientation, use the team that you chose earlier. The teams are #TeamArrive, #TeamThink, #TeamAccept, and #TeamIntrigue. Your facilitator is going to give you about 3 minutes to do this activity. Great job, everybody. With others knowing the what, the how, and the why of your success, you will continue to build a squad of people who will help you and inspire you. Commit to yourself to continue to find ways to inspire others towards their vision. Congratulations! You are now a 4-tool leader. Your 4th tool ensures that you can inspire yourself and others while working with all types of diverse leaders. Inspiration is a great foundation that we discussed is a necessary push. But the key to effective leadership is to go beyond inspiration, to empower others in order to achieve your purpose, a topic that we'll dive into in Foundation 5.
We're now in our 5th foundation, empower others. As Melissa mentioned, being a great leader isn't just about inspiring people. It's about going beyond that and actually empowering them. When people are empowered, they feel heard, understood, safe, and invested in. They perform better because they have more confidence. When you empower others, you're creating stronger leaders. So what does that actually look like? In this foundation, you'll learn 2 skills to empower others. First, you'll learn how to understand who's in the room with you. Next, you'll learn how to communicate with them. So let's get started with our first skill, understanding who's in the room. I want you to think back to the beginning of our time together today. You answered the question, something you may not know just by looking at me is. What you may not have realized is that your answer to that question is actually part of your identity. Identity is a set of characteristics that make up who you are. When we take a step back to look at our identities, we see that they're a lot like icebergs. Did you know that 10% of an iceberg is visible to us above water, and that the remaining 90% is below the surface? We don't realize how much there is to an iceberg until we dive a little deeper. This is just like our own identities. There's only a very small part of our identity that is surface level and visible to other people. Most of what makes you, you, lies below the surface and can't immediately be seen or known by others. Things like clothing and physical appearance are some of the few parts of identity that are immediately visible to others. Moving down to the waterline, there are aspects of our identity that we may be able to see, but we can't know for sure based only on appearance. These are things like gender, marital status, or race. Below the waterline is where we find the majority of what makes up our identities. These are things like values, beliefs, nationality, education level, sexual orientation, our job, the languages we speak, or our hobbies. These things are not immediately seen. Going back to what I shared earlier, I said that something most people don't know just by looking at me is that I really like classical music. Looking at our iceberg here, you'll see that that fits into the below the surface section. Classical music is one of my interests, but you would never know that without talking to me. Leaders who empower others understand that our identities are multidimensional. Leaders invest time in learning about their team beyond the surface level. Today, most of us here only know each other on that surface level. Maybe we've seen each other's faces at events or otherwise out and about. We want to challenge you through the rest of your time in LTD and in your other steps to induction, like S&T meetings, to go a little deeper and learn more about each other by asking questions and listening. This is the first step to better understanding each other. Now that you know more about understanding who's in the room, let's talk about how you communicate with them. Today, we're going to introduce you to the DISC assessment. DISC is a tool that helps us understand our behavior in certain situations. We use it to better understand how people communicate so we can more effectively lead them. You've actually started on this communication work in your orientation when you learned about your teams. DISC is another way for us to learn how to better relate to others through communication. It's important to know that tools like DISC measure behavior, not competence or intelligence. Having one style or another has no impact on your effectiveness in a role. Instead, it's about how you relate to others. So let's dive in. After orientation, you received an email confirming your attendance along with an invitation to take a free DISC assessment. By now, most of you have taken the assessment and have an idea of your results. But we recognize that life happens, and you may not have been able to take it, or you may have forgotten your results. We're going to review the 4 styles again, and you'll choose the one that sounds most like you. Everyone is a blend of all 4, but there's generally one that's most prominent. That's the one you'll want to work with today. Now that you have a style to work with, you're going to first answer 3 questions on your own about your communication style. 1. What are some of the strengths of your communication style? 2. What does your style need from others to be successful? 3. What animal best represents your communication style and why? We already know some strengths for each style, but let's look at a few more examples. Ds are good at being direct and overcoming obstacles. Is are good at relationship building and being enthusiastic. S's are good at being calm and supporting others. C's are good at being precise and focused on logical solutions to problems. Now let's look at some examples of what your style may need from others. D's need the person that they're talking to get straight to the point. They don't need small talk. I's, on the other hand, they need to chit-chat. They want to feel connected with the person they're speaking with. S's need to feel sincere appreciation for what they're doing. C's need the details about the project they're working on because they can struggle with things that are too high level. Here's the fun one. What animal best represents your communication style? We'll get you started with some examples. For D, you could be a lion or an eagle. For I, you could be a dolphin or a monkey. For S, you could be a golden retriever or a turtle. For C, you could be a beaver or a bee. Take about 3 minutes to do this now. Now that you know more about your own style, we want you to learn about the styles, strengths, and needs of other members. In a moment, your chapter leader is going to put you into breakout rooms where you'll share your style and the answers to the 3 questions you just worked on. As people are sharing, take notes in your program guide about the strengths and needs of other styles you hear. While it's important to know your own way of communicating, a strong leader knows how to flex their style to better relate to others. When you come back to the main room, we're going to ask you to share in the chat one thing you learned about a different communication style. Your chapter leader will give you about 7 minutes to do this. Welcome back. Don't forget to share in the chat one thing you learned about a different communication style. You've done a great job. You've learned that people who strongly identify with the same style tend to have similar strengths and need similar things from others to be successful. Understanding the strengths and needs of those you're leading is essential to flexing your own style in order to communicate with and empower others. Congratulations, you're officially a 5-tool leader. You've learned not only how to understand who's around you, but also how to communicate with them successfully. In our last foundation, Foundation 6, we're going to set you up with one last tool, so you know how to always seek constant improvement.
Welcome back. We've made it to the home stretch for Leadership Training Day and to the final foundation of leadership: seek constant improvement. Seeking constant improvement has 2 sides to it. On one side is your own drive to improve. On the other side is incorporating feedback from others. Both of these are needed in order to continually grow and improve both as leaders and as people. The drive to improve oneself and always seek new and better methods to accomplish success are common traits among leaders, and characteristics that I'm sure each of you possess. It brought you to NSLS and to the Leadership Training Day. Seeking constant improvement means to continually look for new ways to grow and develop. One of the main ways to ensure that you're always seeking constant improvement is to set goals. To do this, we're first going to complete an activity that circles us back to the beginning of our LTD experience today, back to the purpose you identified as we were getting started. Go ahead and turn to the page in your workbook titled Seek Constant Improvement. In the first part of our activity, you're going to identify one long-term goal that you'd like to focus on during your NSLS experience. In your workbook, you'll find a place to write this goal down. You'll have about 2 minutes to do this, starting now. Now that you have a long-term goal, how are you going to make sure you accomplish it? If it's a few months or a year away, it's easy to lose track of time, and all of a sudden, it's a year from now and you're not where you want to be. One of the best ways to ensure success in your long-term goal is to set 2-week mini milestones. First, what is a mini milestone? A mini milestone is a meaningful step towards reaching your long-term goal that can be reasonably accomplished in a 2-week time frame. Creating these mini milestones will help you stay on track. There may be 20 things you need to do before reaching your long-term goal. Mini milestones will help you focus on the nitty-gritty of your goal to make sure that you accomplish it on time. Make sure that you are specific when choosing your milestone and include the following. How will you know when it's accomplished? What are some objective markers that will tell you and everyone else that this milestone is completed? Set a deadline for your milestone, one that is challenging but also realistic. What specific date will you have completed this milestone? In this example, we're aiming for the milestone to be completed within a 2-week time frame. Take some time now to set up your first mini milestone that will take you one step closer towards accomplishing the long-term goal that you're passionate about.
Once you have your mini milestone set, share it in the chat.
You'll have about 2 minutes to accomplish these tasks, starting now. Amazing work. A major component of improvement is accountability. Moving forward as a group, we must hold everyone in the room accountable to complete their milestones while improving our communities and institutions. Now is also the time to learn how to take a step that every leader must master: asking for help, accepting feedback, and incorporating that feedback into your process moving forward. At NSLS, we use peer-to-peer networking and accountability groups to hold ourselves to the foundation of seeking constant improvement. These are Success Networking Team Groups, or SNTs for short. These meetings are the next step in your leadership journey with the NSLS. So let's take a moment to learn more about how these teams will function. Everybody has dreams, aspirations, a momentous goal that they want to achieve in their lifetime. How you define that major success is up to you. It could be career-centric, financially motivated, driven by helping others, or powered by your own passion. no matter the goal. In order to attain it, you'll need to navigate through the everyday distractions that come with being a college student. Classes, papers, family engagements. This juggling act of obligations is made easier by a strong supporting cast, a collection of people always in your corner who hold you accountable for the steps you commit to executing. That's why the NSLS has created Success Networking Teams, or S&Ts. This important tool will provide you necessary support along your journey. But what exactly are they? An S&T is a tight-knit group that will be by your side from now all the way up until induction. Over the course of regularly scheduled meetings, you'll set goals, share advice, and inspire each other to achieve those goals. On top of that, you'll commit to specific action steps and hold each other accountable for following through. While the exact makeup of your S&T may differ, each group must have a facilitator. The facilitator role should be chosen first and with good reason. The leader by default, they start the meeting, explain the goal for the day, and make sure everybody stays on track. There are other roles that support a healthy S&T. It's up to your group to decide which of these are right for your team. Assisting the facilitator is the activity coordinator. Their role is to guarantee each meeting is fun, productive, and engaging. Planning everything from icebreakers to outings, this role is integral to the success of everything the group does. The timekeeper makes sure that everything stays on schedule so that everyone gets a chance to share their goals and have their voices heard. But how can you keep time if not everyone shows up? That's what the communications coordinator is for. By sending reminders and tracking down people who miss a session, they're the ones that will ensure the team knows exactly when and where meetings are taking place. Some chapters will have a leader who reserves meeting spaces. For those who don't, this job falls on the logistics coordinator. Aside from this important role, they'll also bring any materials your group may need for the meeting, whether that be a computer, tablet, or pens and paper. The final role is that of the recorder. While each member will submit their own S&T report, the recorder makes sure nothing slips through the cracks. By documenting the specific action steps laid out by each member, this person summarizes the meeting and emails the notes to the S&T. This ensures everyone stays on track. By dividing into different complementary roles and holding each other accountable, you're practicing an important leadership tool, collaboration. Once you and your team figure out what you need and whose skills best fit each role, you're ready to utilize your S&T. The first step sets the tone for your entire journey. You must pick a SMART goal.
The person you want to be in the future starts with the steps you'll take today. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What kind of impact do you want to make? Life isn't one big decision you made today, but the culmination of little choices you make every day. Start by creating a SMART goal. This stands for specific, measurable, actionable, rewarding, time-specific.
You can make your own decisions, decide your own path, even a young black kid from Chicago.
Make sure this goal excites you, makes you feel fulfilled, and is something you can achieve in the near future, ideally this term.
And the Grammy goes to Chance the Rapper!
This isn't about achieving your life's goal now. It's about taking action towards it with SMART goals that will lead you to achieve whatever you want to accomplish.
Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you.
It can be anything from having a 3.5 across the board this term to being able to hit 150 push-ups a day 2 months from now, or anywhere in between.
I didn't grow up with things being handed to me. I had to work hard, I had to dedicate myself, and I had to be determined, and I was.
Your teammates will ensure your goal is SMART and can be achieved within a reasonable time frame. They'll also provide support to achieve your goal. Maybe one of your team members has a friend who works for the company you want to get an internship at, or an aunt who's on the board at the grad school you want to attend. It could be that a teammate's brother followed a similar career path and has advice for next steps. After everyone reflects on the feedback they received, you'll move on to the final step, compiling a list of actionable items you can complete before the following meeting to achieve your goal. Once this list is completed, your teammates will hold you accountable in each meeting for completing the action steps you laid out. When you stray, they'll get you back on track. And when you complete tasks, they'll encourage you to keep pushing forward. No matter your goal, your S&T is there to support you. Remember, as you go through each meeting, that these goals are deeply personal and mean a lot to your peers. As such, what's said in your S&T should stay with your S&T. Be sure that feedback is always positive, constructive, and helps your team members achieve their dream. Be their support network, keep them motivated, offer them help, and work together to become leaders who can change the world. This process isn't about achieving your lifelong goals today. It's meant to lay the foundation and build momentum towards achieving them. While you're only required to attend 3 S&Ts, the more you attend, the more likely you'll be able to achieve that success. Your goal is whatever you make of it. Your team is there to make sure you reach it. Lean on them. That's what they're there for. Welcome to the newest tool in your leadership repertoire, your S&T. Now that you understand the basics of how a success networking team works, let's talk about the next steps from here. It's possible that you've already been sorted into teams by your chapter leaders, but most likely that will take place after this leadership training day. Your team will be your support system as you work on your personal goals while achieving induction into the NSLS. Once you've been connected with your team members, you will hold your first meeting. That meeting will follow the process described in this overview. Don't worry though, you don't have to remember all of that today. All of the meetings will have a video, and that will guide you through the process of sharing your successes, working through your challenges, and giving and receiving helpful feedback. It's important for you, as a member of the team, to bring your best self to each Success Networking team meeting and work to build up a team that can move mountains, a team of leaders who make a better world. It can be done. We've seen it happen over and over again with our members. What happens now is up to you. Congratulations! You made it through the 6 foundations and are officially a 6-tool leader. You've not only learned leadership skills, but you've learned about yourself in the process. But where do you go from here? Now that you've identified your purpose and a significant milestone that will help you get there, your next step will be to participate in your Success Networking team meetings. You will also attend speaker broadcast events with some of our nation's leading celebrities and speakers, where you will have access to cutting-edge thought leadership and innovation. Once you've participated in 3 S&Ts and attended 3 speaker broadcasts, you will become an inducted member of the NSLS. From there, a host of opportunities will open up. Access to work toward a whole new level of membership with our advanced and executive leadership certifications, benefits reserved just for our inducted members, and leadership opportunities at your local chapter and beyond. Don't forget, there are over $250,000 in scholarships for NSLS members that you can apply to. You can apply for jobs through the NSLS job board and take advantage of the member-only discounts in the members area. I want to commend you on behalf of the National Society of Leadership and Success for everything you have done that has led you here today. I want to thank you for everything that you will do in the future as a purpose-focused leader. We believe in your potential and in the power of your dreams. We're here to help you achieve both. Stay committed, make your dreams a priority, and be a leader who makes a better world.